Welcome to TeenPact Network News. I'm your host, Tyler Shade.
And I'm Elena Poinba.
Tonight we bring to you the most recent updates from today's events. With the representatives and senators discussing bills in committee today, everyone has a lot on their plate and nerves are running rather thin.
Oh yes, and perhaps today's most controversial moment was this morning during President Fitzpatrick's State of the Union address when he said the following.
From a very young age in my life, my parents impressed on me these values: that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do, that you treat people with dignity and respect.
The Wire reported today that those words aren't actually original to President Fitzpatrick. They're actually original to Michelle Obama. Here are his thoughts on the controversy.
I'm Mariah Carey, and I'm here with President Fitzpatrick, and we're going to be asking him a few questions. And so, President Fitzpatrick, in your speech this morning, you gave a very eloquent line about dreams and values, about character and work, and we did some research on those words, and it became apparent that you aren't the first to use that. Most notably, that line has been recently said by Melania Trump at the Republican National Convention this year, and also by Michelle Obama at the Democratic National Convention a number of years back. You didn't attribute the quote to either of them. Why did you decide not to provide a source for those words?
Well, I'm a big fan of Melania and Michelle. They're both personal role models of mine. So, really, I've always been a big fan of their speeches, but really I was just speaking from the heart. I had really wasn't reading anything word for word. I was just kind of, I've used them as an inspiration just because they inspire me, but really I was just speaking from the heart, and that's what came out.
And also, you've been in office for a couple of months now. This morning you said plenty to the legislators about change. President, you're the leader, and what have you changed and the TeenPact Nation to better serve the needs of those who elected you for this office?
Well, a lot of it's just been preparation for this week, building up to, because this Congress is about to start, and so I've been really preparing and getting my agenda ready, just prepping with the leaders and just talking about different pieces of legislation and things like that, really prepping and getting ready for this week so that lots of change can be made.
Thanks, Fitzpatrick, for that.
Speaking of controversy, the Beck 011 bill, also more commonly known as the marijuana bill, is currently an extremely hot topic among the senators and representatives.
Yes, and they definitely have a wide spectrum of opinions concerning this bill. It is probably going to be the most controversial bill of our legislative session. I interviewed Representative Seth Wyatt earlier today around lunchtime, and here's a clip from our time together.
So tell me your thoughts about the marijuana bill. The piece of legislation that allows the federal government to have nothing to do with marijuana is going straight to the president's desk. The marijuana legislation is going straight to President Fitzpatrick's desk, nowhere else. It's passing both houses.
We caught him later and asked him to explain why he was so confident that the bill would pass. Here's what he said.
Okay. I'm Mariah Carey, and I'm here today with Seth Wyatt, and we're asking him a couple questions on the marijuana bill. So what are your opinions on this bill?
My personal convictions or my political convictions?
Let's go with both.
All right. Personally, I think that the marijuana bill is a good step forward in states' rights and in health care in America. Politically, the Compassion Party stands in favor of this bill, and we'll do everything we can to get it passed.
Okay, thank you so much.
Representative Seth is not the only one with such strong opinions concerning this bill. During a committee meeting, one representative said the following when they were having a final discussion before voting on the bill.
I am overly hyped about this bill because I have been doing bills like this for 3 years now. But basically, you should vote for this bill. Number one, because I will find you. Number two.
This bill also has its fair share of detractors, and Representative Brent Butterbaugh is perhaps the most vocal. We interviewed him today for his perspective.
Hi, I'm Mariah Carey, and I'm here with Representative Brent Butterbaugh, and we're going to be asking him a few questions about the marijuana bill. So what are your opinions of this bill?
Well, I think the bill as it stands is not a good bill at all for the TeenPact Nation. It is a bill that sets the national standard to allow the states to decide whether they want to allow marijuana. And I think that in this particular instance, it is not a good idea to allow the states to decide that. It needs to be a national policy. And personally, I think that marijuana as a gateway drug is not something that we want to have in our country, and that there should be a national policy set to not allow that.
Okay, and how does this represent your party's platform?
Well, the Vision Party is generally for bigger government and for strength, and a lot of people think that bigger government is a bad thing, but bigger government, truthfully, if it is well established, it can actually have a very helpful effect on the nation, because if it's bigger, it can be stronger. The key word is can, because it can also be much more corrupt, but if done correctly, it can be stronger.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Stay tuned throughout the week for more updates.
Good night, TeenPact.
Gunner, can we talk to you for a bit? Okay, so we know that Brent Fassbinder responded to your note, and we were wondering what that response was. We wanted to hear that.
It's actually quite funny. I asked if I could, I believe my words were, can I hear your reasoning on wanting to kill this bill? Because previously he had walked out, ripped someone's paper in half and said he was going to kill this bill.
Okay.
So,
Did you get a response?
I did. He wrote very nicely in big capital letters. He wrote, get, period, a, period, life, period.
Get a life.
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think he's trying to hide his reasoning so he can later destroy opposing parties' opinions?
I feel like he knows that he's going to lose and he doesn't want to.
Okay, good prediction. Do you have any other notes to add on that?
He did come out eventually and talk to me about it, so he was also pretty open.
Oh, and what did he say when he was open with you?
He was very firm in his beliefs on the bill, and he
I would say that. Do you remember what those reasonings were?
He believes that by doing this, they take away the rights of the people to vote for who they want to, and if the person that they want to vote into Congress is not available because they're on their gap year, that is not okay, because the people no longer have the choice they want.
Okay, yeah, well, sounds like sound reasoning. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
You're recommended to do so. Absolutely. Now, when we're looking at this.
So, while I was down here working with some of the lobbies to get an interview, I noticed floor leader / majority leader Brent Fassbinder come off the floor looking quite angry, and he walked over to this trash can, and he walked over it, and he said, I believe he said something along the lines of "get a life," and then he ripped up the pieces of whatever note he was holding. So we are here working to retrieve some of those pieces, so just so we can see exactly what the note that angered Mr. Fassbinder so much was. That's a coffee can, so I'm not going to pull that out. But we're interested to see exactly what could have angered Mr. Fassbinder to the point of ripping up a lobbyist note, throwing it in the trash can, and storming off into the Senate chamber.
Yes. Okay, so Senator Fassbinder.
Yeah.
Now, we have just finished a conversation with one of our lobbyists, Mr. Gunner.
Yeah.
And he confronted us and told
Confronted you.
He told us that you gave him this note.
Yeah.
He asked to speak with you and hear your reasoning for killing his amendment.
Yeah.
And you responded with "get a life." Can you tell us why?
Sure, yeah. So what happened was a lobbyist approached me a page approached me and handed me this note. And so I decided to prepare him for how the conversation was goes, because I'm adamant in my beliefs for killing this resolution. So I handed the page this, and as soon as the page turned to walk away from my desk, I got up and followed the page. And so the page walked and approached Gunner, and right as the page handed it to him and they opened it up and saw this and thought, oh, what the heck, this guy is a heathen, I followed literally 3 seconds after he read it and approached him. So yeah, absolutely. Is this aggressive? Absolutely.
A joke, get a life.
Not really a joke, semi-joke, more like I just wanted him to prepare to understand that like he wasn't going to change my mind. So I sent this. Yeah, so I sent this ahead 3 seconds to prepare him, and so he read this and then I discussed it. So yeah, is this a little intense?
A little bit of your reasoning on why you're killing this amendment and why you're so adamant about it?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Basically, the idea behind this is there's a lot of great benefits to adding term limits. I agree with every single benefit, but to do that, your base move is to restrict Americans' right to vote, and so to me, that's more important than all the benefits you're gonna.
Americans' right to vote?
Because we're telling them who they can and cannot vote for. If you want to elect a corrupt person, that's your choice. So I absolutely agree that this is a great idea. But to get this great idea, you have to restrict Americans' right to vote. So to everyone who is supporting this resolution, get a life.
All right.